Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about Trump using the B-2s. A few weeks ago, we talked about how B-2 spirits had been forward deployed to an island called Diego Garcia. And we went over the speculation, conventional wisdom, and then an item that was being mostly overlooked as a possibility. When the B-2s were moved forward, most of the speculation suggested Trump had moved them there to hit Iran. We brought up how the most recent prior use of the stealth aircraft might hold a clue. Biden used the B-2s to hit Yemen during his administration. It turns out, that's what Trump has been doing as well. The exact extent of the campaign isn't really known, but it hasn't been a one-off operation. It appears the United States is running a relatively sustained air campaign targeting Houthis. It looks like there have been hundreds of strikes over the last month or so. One of the more substantial strikes occurred Thursday when the U.S. hit a fuel terminal used by the Houthis. At time of recording, it's not yet known whether B-2s were involved in this particular strike. The strike was significant because the terminal is at a port that is critical to Houthi operations. And while the CENTCOM release didn't acknowledge any casualties, reports from the ground indicate there were almost 60. The strike was telegraphed in a State Department release on April 9th that said, quote, "The United States will not tolerate any country or commercial entity providing support to foreign terrorist organizations, such as the Houthis, including offloading ships and provisioning oil at Houthi-controlled ports." There have been three main questions that have come in. The first is whether these strikes differ from the strikes that were occurring under Biden. Yes, they differ in frequency, intensity, and targeting. The Biden administration was primarily concerned with keeping the temperature across the region down and stopping a regional conflict from occurring. Biden primarily limited the strikes to firing locations that were being used by Houthis to target shipping to try to pressure Israel. Trump has expanded the campaign to include command and control and infrastructure used by the Houthis. The expansion greatly increases the risk to civilians. And while it might create some short-term disruptions, it's unlikely to create any real long-term change in Houthi structure or capability. The second question coming in is why they keep referring to the B-2s as nuclear capable. The simple answer is clicks. If outlets throw the word nuclear in there, they get more clicks. Most military aircraft you've heard of are nuclear capable. It would be easier to provide a list of U.S. aircraft that weren't nuclear capable than those that are. That's not something I'd worry about. The third is wondering why this isn't getting coverage. A lot of the media is suffering from tunnel vision and focusing on just a couple of high-profile stories. When that happens, a lot of stories fall through the cracks. It certainly appears that this air campaign over Yemen is going to be an ongoing and possibly intensifying event for a while. I'd expect it to pop in and out of the headlines for a while. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.